We are back here in committee to work on H518, a charter change for the town of Essex. I think this committee has spent a significant amount of time thinking about the town of Essex over the last couple of years, as has our incredible council, Tucker. So if you'd like to join us, Tucker Anderson, and tell us about H518.
Right. Good morning, Tucker Anderson, Legislative Council. H518 contains amendments to the Charter of the Town of Essex. And what I believe the committee will be primarily concerned with today is section 107, which is on page 2 of the bill as introduced. And the town is proposing to adopt specific authority to adopt license fees. This language is found in a few other charters. These specific provisions are taken verbatim from the town of Berlin charter. There's also
Berlin, is that what you said?
Berlin. There's
How do
also
they pronounce it?
Berlin.
Berlin rather than Berlin.
Berlin's New Hampshire. Berlin is wrong.
Thank you.
Berlin.
Okay, back to you, Tucker.
Learn something new every
Yeah,
day.
apparently you did it right. I made it wrong. Or reverse, I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
We're gonna have issue with the close of his testimony.
Okay, sorry, back to you, Tucker. I'm sorry.
There's very similar language in the city of South Burlington's charter as well. So this would allow the town to adopt and enforce ordinances for the purposes of regulating, licensing, and fixing reasonable and necessary fees, which is the limiting clause here for places of public resort accommodation, amusement, places dispensing food and drink to the public, theaters, fireworks displays, public dances and musical performances, itinerant vendors, the exclusive occupancy of any specified portion of a public street or right of way, the keeping of dogs or other pets, and other activities that the town has the power to regulate or license by virtue of general law or this charter. So they don't actually have very much specific authority in their charter. So that last clause is going to capture anything in Title 24 that's generally available to municipalities at large. A few things to note about how charter authority is harmonized with general law. We have a few opinions within the realm of assessments, specifically downtown district taxes and the expansion of taxing districts, that give us some instruction on how we read charters in the context of procedures in general law. Where there are not inconsistent provisions in the charter or where the charter is silent, the procedures that exist in general law control and are harmonized with whatever specific authority the municipality has in their charter. So in this instance, the best guess that I can give you for legal advice on what you are giving the town is they will have the ability to fix reasonable and necessary fees for this list of items, provided that there isn't some statute out there that is more specific that controls or sets fees. It's the best interpretation that I can give you about the scope of authority here. The example that I use in House Government Operations is, the specific power on page 3 to set license fees for the keeping of dogs or other pets. The Title 20 provisions for dog and wolf hybrid licenses are very specific. It sets base fees. It allows slightly increased fees to support very specific programs around neutering, spaying, and rabies vaccination programs at the local level. And it allows for up to $10 increased to the town to support specific administrative programs. It's very detailed in the numbers, detailed in the kind of discretionary authority for license fees that municipalities have, and for both the procedures for fixing those fees and where the money can go. That seems to be an example of a fee that would control with this charter authority, particularly where it seems like they're actually listing authority that already exists in general law for municipalities. anything in here that is not specified in general law, they will have the authority to set.
Itinerant performers, for example.
Itinerant vendors, actually are some fees set by the Department of Health for food trucks and those sorts of things to get their operator license. I don't know if those would conflict enough that they would be able to set their own.
And then this other category.
Mhm. This would be, you mean subdivision 9, where it's anything else that they,
Anything else as desired?
yeah, allowed to control.
Do other towns have that?
Berlin has that. I can't recall from the South Burlington Charter if they have that in their list at the end. Something that I've been trying to do better for the committees is when you see these clauses, which are called iustem generis clauses. I did not take Latin, so that's my best guess, that it's a soft J and not a hard J at the beginning, but those clauses are read to include anything that is similar to what is specifically listed before it,
Okay.
right? Here, I think the clause is essentially saying, if we have the power in general law, the General Assembly has given us the ability to regulate that area, we can assess a license fee for that particular activity that we're allowed to regulate. I can send you a list of the 30 plus powers in 2291, so you can get an idea of what sort of authority exists in general law right now.
I would actually appreciate that. Thank you.
Hold it.
Any other questions on this one? Representative Anthony?
Did some of this devolve, if you will, at the time of the separation between the junction and the town? I'm just a curiosity because I reported out the bill when the junction was created as a city. And I remember there were agreements about who got what was left, et cetera, et cetera.
So this was discussed in House Government Operations, and I don't want to paraphrase the testimony from the town because they did give some good information to the committee.
Okay.
And they did testify about some of those issues. The need for the charter review committee at the town level was triggered by the separation. The need for specifically the provisions, I don't know.
Yeah.
They did talk about what they were actually focusing on, and a lot of the discussion, it was dog licenses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions on that? I understand that GovOps has an amendment.
I don't think so. Do they? Oh, yes, they do. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was like, have I not been emailed about something? Yes, when it passed out of the committee, they removed for later consideration a provision related to just cause eviction.
Okay.
And that was meted out between the committee and the town when the town came in to testify in this bill, so that these provisions could move without any potential, as the committee put it, veto possibility around just cause eviction.
Okay. And so the bill that's come to us as amended does not have that. Okay. Is there anything else in the bill right now?
There's quite a bit, yeah.
Okay. Can you?
Quickly?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. For detail, I can go,
Nope.
you have me for a while.
I appreciate it.
Do a detailed walkthrough,
Can use it in other ways.
talk about Dylan's rule, quote about how you have all the power.
I think we've discussed that before.
Yeah, I often, I
We
say
live- And we live it every day.
constant refrain, you have the power. So in addition to the license fee provision, they have a recall procedure for select board members. A general reorganization of their charter, and a transition from a zoning board of adjustment to a development review board.
That's it.
That's it?
Oh, okay.
Yes. The reorganization of their charter was by far the most complex drafting. It's in section 2, the redesignations, because they moved so much internally within the charter. I had to do this wild looking paragraph explaining where everything is moving.
Any further questions from anyone? Yes.
comment on Berlin.
Yes.
During, both towns originally were Berlin. During World War One, after World War One,
So excited that you know this. Keep in mind.
well, they both changed the pronunciation to Berlin, and now it's some of it's kind of gravitated back. You know,
Except in New Hampshire, they have not.
except for New Hampshire, it's
It's
right,
Berlin.
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 And what about Berlin, New York?
I don't go
It's,
there.
it's on Route 22, just across the border.
I think with that, we are going to hear from fiscal about, what happens next, about what's happening here, the money impact. And
You want a motion?
nope, we're going to hear from joint fiscal first.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that.
Well, it's a history thing, you know,
Yep, it's a handy thing to know.
Is there any fiscal impact of this bill? Fiscal impact to the
record.
state?
Ted Barnett, Joint Fiscal Office, no, there's not any fiscal impact to the state. Plenty at the municipal level, but not at the state level.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming in.
Of course.
And sort of basically just in order to try to be consistent with charter changes, we're gonna try to do this for all charter changes. Have joint fiscal say that's.
Oh, okay.
Or not that sentence, but generally it will be that sentence. It's mostly that sentence, but in an attempt at consistency, it's very possible that when the session moves along and things get a little wilder, it might be an email rather than a person, but we're gonna do our best on all of them. I think we're going to, yeah, I think you offered to offer a motion?
I did. I move that we favorably support the charter changes as amended for the town of Essex.
We didn't amend it, so you just need to find the bill as it came to us favorable.
Okay. I move that we find favorable the presented charter change for the town of Essex.
Representative Anthony moves that we find H518 favorable.
Second.
Representative Andrews seconds. Any further discussion?
I have a
Yes.
question. So if we vote yes, does this mean it is changed? It's enacted, that's it? So I'm assuming the public has voted on this and it's been.
We didn't ask all those questions. We usually ask those questions, don't we?
And I apologize, I should have thought faster, but it occurred to me now.
Are you aware of the votes on this by any chance?
I am.
Okay. Tucker, can you join us back up again?
Yes, all of the articles as contained were approved by the voters. So section 1 of every charter bill. And it's not in the bill as introduced, but it's in the House Government Operations Amendment, states the date that the voters approved the amendments. So yes, all of this content was approved by the voters, certified by the Secretary of State and delivered to me. I can pull up the vote totals for you, but first I would have to access the portal that the Secretary of State gave me. And unfortunately, I am locked out at the moment. So anything from last session is behind the wall.
So if we vote yes around the table here, does that enact the change?
It sends it to the floor, right?
Oh, to the floor?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And then it goes to the Senate,
And then it goes to the Senate.
and then it goes to the governor, if it passes the Senate.
Yeah, if the Senate doesn't amend it, who knows what could happen?
Second moment, sorry. Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
we're all, I mean, I forgot how we vote yesterday, so I have no blame on any of it. Okay. Any further discussion?
Did you need a second?
I think we have a second from Representative Andrews. I think we're in discussion. There's no further discussion. Seeing that, if you could please read the roll.
Andrews, yes. Anthony,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Brannigan,
Yes.
Demrow,
Yes.
Aslan,
Yep.
Matos. Odie. Yes. Sims. Yes. Taylor,
Yes.
Canfield,
Yes.
Kornheiser,
Yes.
1101.
Thank you. Representative Anthony, can you report this? Thank you. We're gonna have we're gonna have some quiet time amongst ourselves as we prepare. Awful. Let's take a 5-minute break.
Okay?
Yes.